Right, so that's interesting. Now, you've made some other interesting directorial choices. You've chosen to set the play in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Tell us about that choice.
So, partially it was because last year's was so much fun set in the 40s.
And that was a comedy of errors.
Comedy of errors. And just the 50s is such an iconic time. And as opposed to the 40s where they were still sort of, in the war and the mood of it wasn't exactly like carefree. The 50s, everyone was carefree. There wasn't like any huge dispute or anything. And the 50s were actually when the term like teenager was really created and invented. So they had specific roles now, whereas before you didn't really have a teenage character. So I thought, like, one, it fit really well with the characters in the play, like Bianca and Lucentio and such. But also, it's just the breaking away from society is such a cultural thing that the 50s started, like with the classic like leather jackets and stuff,
right.
which is
guys with their cars. That's interesting. You see, this is the era, in your opinion, when shall we say, the teenager starts to have an identity of their own.
Yeah.
And so you see the characters in the play as essentially as kind of teenagers come to life in the 50s?
Right, yeah, and there's only like 2 or 3 of the characters that we talked about are actually like teenagers, but it's still it's more important of like the attitude of like I can do this by myself.
Right.
I don't need no person or whatever.
Right.
And that's when Petruchio comes in. He's like, actually, I can sort of bring you back from this false image you have of yourself that you can, control everything and just show you a different way. And I think that's really interesting.
Very good.